Welcome to another episode of the Digital Contractor Show on Turfs Up Radio. I'm here today with Jason Kramer, CEO of Cultivize. Jason, welcome to the show today.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it to be here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the conversation that we have today. I think it's a timely topic, and we'll dive into that here in a little bit. But first, you provided me with a bio, so I wanted to just give our listeners a quick introduction to you, and then we'll dive into more about you and your company. So Jason brings 25 years of marketing and branding experience to help established companies scale by leveraging marketing and sales automation. This results in a seamless connection between marketing and sales efforts, often reducing marketing expenses by over 10% and increasing the ability to identify and convert leads to customers by over 400%. So some good numbers in there, right? So I always want to marry provide the marriage between sales and marketing, and it sounds like you've been doing this for a long time. So once again, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about, it's fun because you're a fellow marketer. I think that we're going to enjoy this and be able to have some good conversation for our listeners and how those established companies can grow and scale. But tell us first just a little bit about, your company and your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like most people that are in the marketing industry, sorry about that. Like most people that are in the marketing industry, there's often a start in a couple of different places, right? Either starting on the creative side, you might be starting on the account management side. My background going back nearly almost 30 years, I know I have a young face, but it started out in the communication and design side.
Okay.
So, I got to start into this industry working for advertising agencies, opened my first advertising agency in my early 20s, which was a boutique shop we ran out of Manhattan for about 15 years. Did a lot of branding work, a lot for B2B companies, as well as B2C as well, like those in the landscape industry, amongst others. And what occurred to me, Tim, about maybe 4 years ago was that, we were doing all this marketing for companies. And, I'm sure the people listening to the show have a similar thing where they're spending money to drive people to their door, whether it be the physical door, the virtual door of their website. And you want to know, what am I getting out of that? I'm getting hits to my website. I might be getting people to fill out a quote request, people calling me for an estimate to come and take care of the landscaping. But at the end of the day, it's often very difficult to know how much revenue am I actually generating from that investment. And there's usually a disconnect because anybody in the marketing industry isn't really going to have access to your revenue numbers, right?
Right. We call that kind of the last mile. Right. Kind of like we know what we're driving, right? But that last mile. So
exactly. And from a marketer standpoint, there's some frustration there because you want to be doing, the good job that you can do to get quality leads in for your customers. But at the same time, if your client, in this case, let's say the landscaping outfit, doesn't really understand, how to give you the revenue, they're apprehensive about sharing their revenue with you, giving you access to their books, then it's kind of like, the blind leading the blind in a way. So you're just kind of thinking, okay, well, we have this type of conversion on the website. We're expecting that you're getting maybe X revenue perhaps, but it's all very superficial and not really concrete. So what I decided to do was kind of get out of the marketing and branding business that I ran in my prior company and start this new company, Cultivize, about 1.5 years ago. And all we do at Cultivize is do exactly that. We help companies bridge together what their sales team is doing on the day-to-day, whether they're knocking on doors, being on the phone, what their marketing team is doing, whether they're going to events in the neighborhood and community events to build brand awareness. We pull all of that together into one unified platform with a strategy, simply put, to know what is actually generating them revenue, right? Because we're able to pull together all these data points in a very seamless way. And not only is this helping the client, it also helps the marketing company. We, as a company, as Cultivize, don't do any marketing or lead gen for our clients. So we actually thrive and only could survive if our clients are doing some level of marketing on their own. Otherwise, we can't do anything if they have no leads for us to manage and to help bring through the system. So the benefit there to the marketing agency is they can say, yes, Tim, you spent $5,000 with us last month in your marketing. We can see from Jason's platform that you made $25,000 in revenue from that investment. Isn't that amazing? Now, wouldn't it be great if we upped your marketing budget? Imagine if we double it, what we can do with that. And now the marketing agency has a lot to gain because they have proof, hard proof, that their marketing is actually working and bringing in revenue. So it's really a win-win, both for the marketing agencies that the clients are already working with, as well as, for the client themselves.
Nice. Interesting. So I think that's a great background and introduction to the topic, for sure, and kind of give our listeners an idea of where we're going, and I think the opportunities here. So, and I think it's all really timely in terms of like, we all, with everything going on, I think it's an opportunity to dive into how to make these systems and processes and automations more effective, in our businesses. So, looking forward to diving in. I think we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to learn just a little bit more about where you are, and maybe I want to hear a little bit more about your business name as well.
Sure.
Kind of the origin story there. So we'll be back with after a quick break. Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, this is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer. Are you frustrated or overwhelmed with marketing your business? If you'd like to be a local market leader, create a steady stream of new customers, and spend more time doing the things you love, we can help. We know what it's like to build a landscape business, run crews, and work with customers. If you're ready to grow your business by getting your internet marketing right, download our ultimate internet marketing cheat sheet today at hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. That's hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. And we're back with another segment here on the Digital Contractor Show on Turfs Up Radio. My name is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer, and I'm here with my guest, Jason Kramer with Cultivize. Jason, you came back. Welcome back, right?
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'd love in this segment just to start out with a little bit, just to kind of like where are you at, in the country, and just let's start there.
Yeah. So sure. Yeah, we're in New York. About an hour north of Manhattan. And so, we work with companies across the U.S., given the nature of, a lot of businesses these days, it's easy to work across the board. But yeah, so we're in New York, and, we like it here, except the winter, if we didn't have the winter.
I was going to say, so like how much snow do you get in the winter?
This winter wasn't bad. It was, I think the most we ever got was maybe 8 inches or so.
Okay.
In one storm, but we did have a lot of ice in the beginning of the winter, which it was a havoc, especially where I live in my home. Lost a fair amount of trees, from the ice storm. But yeah.
So what's it doing there right now? Like, is it warming up, or is it?
It is warming up. Yeah. I mean, we hit in the high 60s. So for us, that's warm. Right now. We had a little rain today, but yeah, it's, spring is on the horizon. I heard the little hedgehogs, I guess didn't see the shadows, how it goes, right? So the spring.
Well, I never understand, right?
I was getting a little confused myself on that one, but
right.
So I think we're headed, that's behind us, unless there's some freak storm that comes out of somewhere.
Right. Well, very good. And I love, I'd love to kind of hear, I always like to hear the origin story of your business name. And interesting, you're in the marketing business, but, you've got a name that could be a landscape company. So just tell us about that.
Absolutely could be. So, really it came out of the idea that the business we have is essentially helping our clients cultivate their leads, right? So the idea of Cultivize was that the cultivation of process and strategy and technology that we have, and then the seizing of the moment, right? Because what we're able to do is be able to precisely pinpoint when a prospective customer is showing the most interest. So the idea of the cultivation and the seizing of that opportunity and marrying those two together. When I started this new business, I wanted to kind of create a name for it that was not a name that just exists in the dictionary, which is always fun from a creative kind of standpoint.
Right.
The challenge I found, though, like some companies is now, in business over, almost 2 years, when you leave messages for people, you have to spell out the name like twice. They're like, Cultivize, like, what is that? So,
right. Did you mean to say cultivate? No.
No, that's not it, So, but that's the fun things about having an unusual name. Plus, it also kind of, I think, resonates and sticks with people. So,
right.
Yeah, so we like it.
I mean, I think it's fun to come up with unique names, even though sometimes it's hard to spell, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So
We didn't go too crazy. I mean, we've, obviously there's a lot
it's
of
pretty
companies out there that
easy.
have some really weird spellings, but
Yeah.
we tried to get it as, you know, make as much logical sense as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you've been in business for a couple of years. You're providing this service, and tell us a little bit about like who your customer is, who your sweet spot has been that you've landed on.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's really just a couple of criteria that we find is a good starting point to kind of qualify a potential customer to or company, I should say, to work with us. So one is that they have to have some type of mechanism for generating new leads, right? If they're just waiting for the phone to ring and they don't have anything out there, and I'm not saying that they'd be spending $50,000 a month on marketing, but they have to have something that's going to kind of just bring in some consistent level of new opportunity, whether it be direct mail, penny saver ads, local newspaper prints, whatever they might be doing in their community. That's piece one, because we don't generate the leads. So if there's no leads being created by them or by somebody, there's nothing for us to do. The second component is that they have to have someone in the organization that's going to follow up with those leads. As you know, Tim, with your business and with the businesses you speak with and the companies I speak with, you still need that human interaction. So if any company just has the business owner and then just kind of like the busy bee workers that are kind of out there and they're not into connecting and speaking with a prospect or a customer, then that business owner is juggling a lot of things, right? So the practicality of that business owner being able to talk to every potential prospect or prospect that might be showing interest is really kind of impossible. So what we like to find out is, does the company have at least maybe one or two, full-time or semi-full-time people that if we're giving them information to say, here, these are the people you should call today based on the information we're seeing, we want to know that there's somebody on the company's side that could actually make those phone calls and reach out or even send a personal email message or whatever it might be. Aside from that, the other thing we find is that our clients tend to be either in a high volume business or in a business where the decision to buy that product or service isn't an impulse buy. So for example, a company that's not a good for us, I always like to use is like a flower shop, right? If you're looking to buy a bouquet of flowers for your girlfriend, your wife, or whomever, a friend, right? You're just going to go on a website, you're going to find what you like, you're going to find your price range, you're going to buy it. You're not going to say, oh, let me do some research, let me come back in a month, make a decision. You're just going to buy it when you're ready to buy it. Those type of companies, yeah, we can help them, but they really, quite honestly, don't necessarily need our help. But when you're a homeowner, and I'm a homeowner, and I'm saying, okay, I spend X number of time cutting my grass every day, every week, trimming the hedges, doing all this stuff, I'm thinking about hiring somebody, but I'm not quite sure if it makes sense. And it's going to take me a little bit of time to figure that out. Well, that's like the perfect fit, right? Because now I might be checking out that company's website. I might be looking at some direct mail, calling them, getting some pricing information. Maybe somebody's coming to my door, I'm talking to them. And if you have the ability to build up that history and then build a profile to say this person is more likely to be interested because they've had this many more touch points than all these other prospects, that's really where it really shines. So, those three scenarios is what we start at. And that's really the bulk of it, when it comes down to qualifying potential companies for us to work with. And I should also just quickly add to that, Tim, that we're not the type of company that's looking to bring on hundreds and thousands of clients every year. Sure. We hand select, about 5 or so clients to work with every month. So I am the CEO of the company, as you mentioned before. I'm personally involved with every client we have. And that's important because we want to understand the business. And I want to take all of that knowledge I have as a business owner with my marketing background and everything else that comes to the table and transfer that and be that consultant, if you will, to our clients. So that's where we are a little kind of picky about the people we work with because we want to make sure that it's going to be a success. Otherwise, quite frankly, it's kind of just a waste of time for the customer, and for us to engage if we don't think there's not going to be a success down the road.
Great. Well, that's great background and insight into and gives our listeners an idea again of who you're working with in your sweet spot. So with that, let's take a quick break and we will be back with more with Jason Kramer with Cultivize. And welcome back to another segment of the Digital Contractor Show on Turf's Up Radio. I'm here with Jason with Cultivize. Jason, we were talking a little bit over the break, about the different types of marketing that, landscapers and green industry companies and businesses in general do. But I would love to kind of hear, because you mentioned earlier, direct mail or penny saver or digital. Let's talk a little bit about kind of how did all of these platforms or all of these marketing methods kind of integrate with then some tracking that you can provide?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Tim. So, often people think I'm going to take out an ad, I'm going to put something in the penny saver, do a direct mail. And what do? They say, go visit our website. They say, call our phone number. And there's no tracking mentality in mind, and even as you know, with your marketing experience in direct mail, 1 to 2% conversion is like a home run. Like you hit it out of the ballpark, right?
Right.
Which is like, so if you're sending out only like 1,000 pieces, that's really not a big return. So what we do, we have the ability, two things, and it's very simple actually. So with a phone number, if your listeners probably have heard of things like maybe like CallRail and other types of technology where the inbound call can be tracked. Now, what we have the ability to do with our system is connect to tools like CallRail and other tools like it, where not only is the call recorded, but it automatically creates a new lead in our system from that inbound call. No one physically even has to go into the system to do that. And the call is actually recorded in our system. So now you have that new person that's calling in going right in there. And you can figure out like where they're coming from. Was that a phone number from a direct mail piece? Was it a phone number from a van, from a billboard? So you can track and be able to see what phone number is actually prompting them to call them from what location.
So let's pause there for a second just to clarify. So do you recommend setting up separate call tracking numbers like via CallRail or whatever for each type of ad? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And because you want to know which is working, right? Because if you say, oh, we get a lot of calls, but if you're doing 5 different things, how do you know which one is actually working?
Right.
Because if it's not working, then you're just spending marketing dollars, and not really getting the result.
Right. So that's one way to track offline type things. Is
one way is through phone number. Yep. The other way is through a landing page. So instead of them say, for example, come to abclandscaping.com. It's come to abclandscaping.com/summer promo. Yep. Right. And then that the only people that are going to that page are the people that saw that penny saver ad, because that's the only place you listed that website address. It doesn't live anywhere else.
Right.
So now you have a separate landing page for every single promo that you're doing. Or the other way you can do it, our system is able to track what we call referring URLs. So let's say you are advertising in a local community website or some other website that's driving traffic to your website. Then what you can do is we can create an automated tracking to say anybody that's coming from this other website to our website, we know the only reason they would be coming from there is because they saw our ad.
Right.
And then we automatically say, oh, we have 30 new customers, that need, lawn care that came from this other website. That's pretty good, considering we only spent maybe $100, to advertise on that site. So, and the beauty of tying in the marketing to the sales component is now we could say, not only do we know where the leads came from, but did it actually result in any sales?
Okay.
Right.
So that's tracking the source and then driving in again, like we talked about, kind of that last mile that it turned into a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in the next segment, I'd like to dive into that a little bit more. Like, how do you kind of follow the sources and follow the money, basically, and track the money. So definitely. But so those are kind of the 3 different things. The call tracking, or through something like CallRail. You've got a landing page. We often talk about like landing pages. Think about it as like that's how the big boys market, right? Big boys and big girls market. They always, when you see a TV ad, a lot of times they're driving to a specific. It's kind of the mix of direct response, right? And they're driving to a specific page, so they know exactly how that ad is performing, and then the referring URLs. So awesome. So I think again, this is kind of a quick high level overview of this, and then we're going to dive into it in the next segment. So,
Perfect.
make sense?
Makes sense. Perfect sense.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back for a little bit longer segment on details, how this all works, and looking forward to hearing that. Thanks, Jason, and we'll be right back. Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, this is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer. Are you frustrated or overwhelmed with marketing your business? If you'd like to be a local market leader, create a steady stream of new customers, and spend more time doing the things you love, we can help. We know what it's like to build a landscape business, run crews, and work with customers. If you're ready to grow your business by getting your internet marketing right, download our ultimate internet marketing cheat sheet today at hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. That's hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. Okay, we're back for another segment here on the Digital Contractor Show on Turfs Up Radio. I'm here with my guest, Jason Kramer from Cultivize. Jason, we talked in the last segment, kind of an overview of, kind of how to start working with, systems like yours, start tracking some of the sources and so forth. I'd love to dive deeper in this segment of, so you're starting to track these now, then what, and then how do you ultimately follow the money and track your results? So tell us a little bit about that process.
I assure you, Tim, there's no offshore accounts here in our process. It's all legit. So it's actually really simple. You think about in any business, and even, we're talking with those, that are doing lawn care and landscaping related services, residential, maybe commercial as well. And, from a business perspective, you think, oh, well, we have a really good season. We have this many people that are interested in our service. They said, yeah, we want to hire you. But the reality in any business is that they're not all going to close, right? So sometimes you have a disillusion to think, oh, we're going to have a really good quarter, a really good season, when maybe it doesn't work out that way. And the reason is you're seeing like the totality of everything and not looking at the probability of what's actually going to kind of really come into reality. And what I mean by that is, we have the ability to say, okay, the people that fill out a quote request, and this will start here with a simple one, and I would gauge this to all the listeners thinking about it, all the quote requests you get, whether it be for masonry work, for lawn care, whatever it might be, how many of those quotes turn into an actual sale? Right? Is it 50%? Is it 25%? Is it 10%? So you might have a lot of quotes and you might think, oh, wow, this is great. We have so many quotes. But if only 10% are closing, not so good, right? So what we want to do is we want to be able to give realistic expectations. So when the revenue is being tracked in our system, we pre-plug in those statistics. We talk to our clients. We say, okay, if you're doing a quote, out of 10 quotes, how many typically closed? Or last season, how many were you able to close? We plug in 50%, if that's the number. And now, as these deals are coming in and quote requests are coming in from the website that are automatically connected to our system, we can actually look at the forecasted revenue, right? And we can look at it based on the probability of the deal closing. The other thing that I should mention too is that, the communication that you have, maybe B2B would be over email, but certainly on the consumer side, you're talking to people over the phone. You might be going face-to-face to people. Having all of those notes and everything in a chronological fashion will allow you to be able to see, what is that communication been like? Maybe you quoted them something, you forgot the conversation, you go back and look at the notes from what another salesperson mentioned. So having everything there is certainly beneficial. At the end of the day, really what we're trying to do, Tim, in addition to everything we talked about, is increase efficiency and productivity. That's really what it all comes down to. If we can make, the salesperson and the estimator and whatever jobs there is in each of the organizations that might be listening to the show today, and give them an extra 2-3 hours of time in their day, imagine what that would do for them, right? Imagine what they can do with that extra time. Well, they could probably call new people, new leads. They can do other things that might make the company more money. And that's really at the end of all of this, what we're trying to do is increase efficiency and also add accountability, right? If you're a landscaping outfit and you have, 10 people, 5 people on the street every day knocking on doors, you might say, hey, Joe, you need to knock on 50 doors a day. Mary, you need to knock on 50 doors a day. How do you track that? If you don't have a system in place, they'll tell you, oh, yeah, we knocked on 50 doors, but no one was home at half of them. But it's a possibility that they only knocked on 20 doors because they got tired. It was hot out that day. And they
Right.
just sat in the car the rest of the day.
Right.
You and I hope that's not the case, but the reality is it could be happening. So the fact of the matter is that, if we have the ability to add accountability, it also inspires people in the organization to really do the right thing, because now they know that everything is being tracked, in a way to make it more advantageous for them, not to be big brother, but just to make sure that things are being done in a productive fashion.
So you mentioned a couple things. I mean, one, like I used to work in sales for 6 years for a company, and my boss talked about kind of the CRM and system as institutional memory, right? So, being able to kind of bring it all together in one space of the conversations, so you could pick up where somebody else left off. If somebody's sick, you just be able to have that conversation. What other kinds of things does the system track? I mean, manually plugging some things in, but what other types of things can you track in the system?
Great question, Tim. So it can track any activity that's happening on the website from any device, whether it be a mobile device, a computer, et cetera. It can track all phone calls that are coming in. If there's a connected thing like CallRail or something else, so it would have those audio recordings. It has the ability to even record outgoing calls as well. So if you have somebody in the office making calls to people, reminding them or trying to pitch them or sell them, it can record those. It can transcribe all of those calls as well. It also records any interaction to other things you might have. So let's say you're sending somebody a quote. It could look and see, did they actually open up the quote? It could even create automations based on their actions. So the scenario might be someone goes to your website that we're quote unquote tracking them. I'm holding up my fingers doing the quote symbol. I know people listening.
Right.
See that, so
the air quotes.
Let's say they came to your website, filled out a newsletter sign up, last summer. They never did any business with you. This year they come, they go to the quote page, but they never fill it out. Wouldn't it be amazing to know that person came back, looked at the quote page, but didn't do anything? And would it be more amazing if the system could send them an email automatically? Hey, Mary, the summer season's coming up for the grass cutting season. We're running this amazing promotion. If you call before the end of this week, we're able to offer you X, Y, and Z. So the system is able to monitor, all this type of engagement and communicate with people on that one-to-one basis. Of course, we can send out an email newsletter once a month, once a quarter to people, and thousands of emails at a time. That's not a problem. But really what the true power of being able to track this activity is to be able to communicate with people on a one-to-one basis at the exact moment when they're showing interest.
So that brings up another question. I was talking with somebody else earlier this week about like marketing and personalization. Mm-hmm. And so you talked about like sending them the right message at the right time, basically. Like, can you also personalize some of that information of based on their activity?
Oh, absolutely. So the CRM, the beauty of the platform we work with, it's very easily to be customized. And I should say also, which I didn't say at all, and shame on me for 45 minutes into this conversation or so, this is a completely done for you product and program. So we're not a software company and we're not quite a marketing company. We're really more of a consultancy when it comes to what we call lead nurturing, right? Or prospect nurturing. And when I say done for you, we're fully setting up the system, we're customizing it, we're uploading all of your current customers and maybe prospects and leads that you've had over the past years, or et cetera. And we're connecting it to your website. We're doing everything to essentially give you the key so you and your team can start driving. Okay. And I should also add that on top of that, every client we have gets a 1-hour phone call with me personally every month to discuss ongoing strategy. What's changing? Okay, maybe if you're in a climate, across, let's say in the Northeast, now it's the wintertime, you're not doing landscaping, you're doing snow removal. So now you need to push out and start advertising, snow removal, de-icing, and other services. Maybe you do power washing on houses, and there's other things that you might provide. Those things that might change and shift seasonally. Well, we're here to help, and I'm here personally to help discuss strategy on how to sell those different things and change and adapt your business as time goes on with the platform. But personalization, yes, we could personalize obviously basic things, their name, right? But it's more than that. It's, things we know about their home, about their location, whatever information we have in the CRM about them, we can personalize the content to them. And it's not only just mail merge, where it's like inserting in first name or last name or address, but it could be shifting complete messaging based on something we know about them. For example, maybe you have again, let's go to hypothetical, you are a landscaping company servicing both residential and commercial. There's different messaging, different services you provide to them.
Right.
So you could have one email newsletter go out every month, but the entire content can shift and change depending upon who's the recipient. Is it a residential customer or is it a commercial customer? Instead of having to create 2 emails each month. Okay. So there's a lot of things we could do on the personalization side. We could also personalize website content, I should add too.
Right.
So
well, that's fascinating. We're coming up against a hard break, so let's take a quick break and come back and talk more. And maybe we didn't get to tracking all the kind of the last mile of the revenue side in detail, so maybe we can touch on that in the next segment. So
sure, absolutely.
We will be right back with another segment on the Digital Contractor Show. Thanks, Jason. Okay, we're back with another quick segment on the Digital Contractor Show. Jason, we were talking a lot of details in the last segment of kind of the different tracking options and the CRM and personalization. I love that personalization. Let's talk. Let's dive in and kind of wrap up this particular part with how do you? We talked about sources and campaigns and where leads are coming from. And then, kind of a sales pipeline and tracking some of that. How do we wrap it all together and measure ROI with revenue based on campaign?
So I'm gonna let everybody kind of close their eyes. Hopefully, if you're driving, you're not going to close your eyes.
Right.
So let's put a little caution to that.
Note, disclaimer.
If you're driving, don't close your eyes and do what Jason's about to tell you to do. But if we can visualize a spreadsheet, everybody's familiar with what a spreadsheet looks like, I would presume. So in column A, we have our lead source, we have our penny savers, our direct mail, our different marketing channels. And the next column, it's our cost. How much money do we spend on each one of those channels? And what I'm describing for you is essentially what this report looks like in our system. After what your costs are, the next channel is going to be how many leads did you generate, right, from that. And the system is automatically going to put people into different buckets based on those lead sources. There's only a couple more columns left. The next column is going to be how many sales did you have, right? Did you have 50 sales, 100 sales, et cetera? And what happened with those sales, right? So did we win them? Did we lose them? So we're not only going to track the opportunities that were won, but how many quotes did we do that were worth $50,000 that we lost? Because that's also important to know, right? We can generate a lot of leads, but maybe they're not the right qualified leads. Maybe those people don't have the budget to afford us, and they're looking for maybe the lowest cost provider out there. They're just trying to get 50 quotes, and they're going to go with the cheapest person, right? So that's also important to look at.
That'd be awful if homeowner got 50 quotes.
That would be terrible. But it happens, right? It happens to any business, right? So then the last really column, to this picture is, the expected value of the pipeline, right? So now you have, how many leads came in from what channel, and you have your sales that you won, your sales that you lost, and then the total value of what you actually generated in revenue. And now you're able to very quickly, again, I'm holding on my hands, and no one can see it, but I'll do it anyway. We're able to see in one screen, okay, I spent, $2,500 this month on all, this one marketing channel, for my newspaper ads, and I made, $1,500, not so good, right? Or I made a lot more than that. That's really good. So it's really simple, Tim. I know that, people may have heard of terms like Google Analytics and other types of analytics tools out there, which could be very convoluted. Yes, they provide a lot of great data, but who has time to read all those reports, right? Let's face it.
Let's face it, you can get lost in Google Analytics really quickly.
Really quick. And I've been working Google Analytics for 20 years, and I still get lost.
Right.
I mean, so much data.
Me too. Yeah.
It's incredible. And quite frankly, the average day business owner or decision maker does not need to see all of that data. So what we're able to do is pull all of that together in one concise report. And that's really what it comes down to, is being able to, really quickly look at that and even get it sent to you via email. You don't have to log into our system once a week, once a month. This is what, the recap is.
Got it. Interesting. So that's a great way to then to just kind of visualize for everybody listening and or watching, but to visualize kind of that sales funnel, so to speak, and the sales pipeline and tracking it all the way through. So,
Yeah.
anything else to add on kind of that? Just the tracking of the revenue and return on investment.
Well, I think the other thing that I should add too is that because of the platform we use is what they call, and again, this might get a little too techy, but it has something called an open source API, which essentially is just a way for our system to talk to other systems.
Yeah.
So,
really important.
It's really important to share that because a lot of you listening to the show right now may already have a system to track your fleet, to do your estimating, to do your quoting, to do your scheduling. There's a good chance, depending on what platform you have, we can tie into that and we can pull data out of that. So the question sometimes I get asked, hey, Jason, this all sounds great, but is there going to be a lot of double data entry, right? And obviously we want to eliminate that. So when at all possible, we're going to connect the systems together to be able to push that data or pull that data so that no one is having to do the double entry. And just one quick, real example of that, if you're using even something like QuickBooks Online, we can pull estimate data out. So when estimates are created, we can pull that data directly from QuickBooks Online into our platform and into the sales pipeline. So there's a lot of things we can do to make that less effort, for the operations, for the office managers involved in putting that data together.
I think that's, I think all of that is timely, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next segment. But let's take a quick break. But timely in terms of how to be more efficient, how to not have that double entry, and how to make systems talk to each other and have processes to make it happen, I think is all extremely timely. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more with Jason with Cultivize here on the Digital Contractor Show. Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, this is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer. Are you frustrated or overwhelmed with marketing your business? If you'd like to be a local market leader, create a steady stream of new customers, and spend more time doing the things you love, we can help. We know what it's like to build a landscape business, run crews, and work with customers. If you're ready to grow your business by getting your internet marketing right, download our ultimate internet marketing cheat sheet today at hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. That's hardscapemarketer.com/cheat sheet. And we're back with another segment. This is the one we like to call Hindsight is 2020. This is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer, and I'm with Jason with Cultivize. Jason, thanks for sticking with me for the show so far. You've provided some really good insight into how systems and processes and CRMs and marketing automation, how they can all work to help us be more efficient. So I'd love to kind of just spend a couple minutes talking about things you've learned. This is a specialty of yours. You've been in business for a couple of years. So maybe what are 1 to 2 or 3 things that you wish you would have known when you started?
Yeah, so it's a great question, Tim. And the one thing I should mention that even though Cultivize as a company has only been around a couple of years, or just about 2 years, we've been working with this technology and this platform for almost 6 years now. So my prior business is where we really started with the technology, and I saw this opportunity to kind of build a business model specifically around helping businesses with what we've been talking about today. So I think as far as what we've learned, one thing for sure is that with anything in life, things take time to change, right? Everybody has their habits, and whether those be personal habits, you're a coffee drinker, you're a tea drinker, whatever it might be. It goes no different with business.
Former Mountain Dew drinker.
There you go. I used to be a former coffee drinker to the point where I was mixing my own blends, and then it killed my stomach, and I was like, all right, I'm done with this, and over to tea, stop being a mad scientist, and plus my coffee. But the one thing that I've definitely realized, didn't realize early on, I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is an amazing technology, amazing solution. Like, why wouldn't you just dive right in and roll up your sleeves? Like, it's a no-brainer. But then you think about the psychology of it. If someone's used to writing little things down on sticky notes or in their little black journal every day, that's their habit, and despite this being a much better solution, sometimes it takes them a little bit of time. So the one lesson we definitely learned early on that we apply, today and have been applying for a while is really about the education and the training, and it's not relying on saying, hey, here's 15 videos you got to watch for the next 3 weeks, to get self-taught. No, we don't do that. We self-train. I personally train all of the team members of the clients we work with because we want to kind of see their reactions when we're talking to them over the training, over those video sessions, and really crafting the training to their specific needs. So that's definitely one thing is, being aware that while it's a great tool, a great platform, a great strategy, it does take some time to adapt to the personality of the individuals that are going to be using it, on a day-to-day basis. And I think the second thing that I would just kind of add to that is that there is a learning curve to, asking some questions. Maybe sometimes they're uncomfortable, sometimes maybe they're not, but getting inside the head of how does the business run? A lot of times, and I think that maybe perhaps in the audience that's listening today, even and other verticals too, you're running your business like the back of your hand. It's like you've been doing it for so long, you don't think about, okay, what does it take to actually go and like build a retaining wall? Yeah, we need some bricks, we need cement, we need about maybe 2 days to do the job, we need backfill, we need all these things, but maybe you don't think about, okay, like we have to call the place to get the, put in the order a week earlier, right?
Right.
There's like little processes that go into place to actually make that possible. And that's really what I've been training, myself, my team to do, to get inside, what are the little specific details? Because at the end of the day, if I'm trying to improve the efficiency and productivity for a company's organization, I need to know every little baby step that they do on a day-to-day basis. And we've really built, a very systematic way to approach that in a casual way, with a couple of different, guides and worksheets. So that would be, the other thing that I didn't realize early on. It was just like, okay, yeah, you send a proposal, you like send out a quote, you go do the job, and it's like pretty black and white. And what we've realized is a little bit more gray, than that.
Right. So two lessons then to summarize. One, change is hard, and understanding that, but then two, just really being open and willing, if you're going to take this on, to really share openly, with your consultant, with you, whatever, to be able to measure and improve all the little details. Right. Is that what I hear you saying?
Matters so much, Tim. Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
Great. Well, that is fantastic. We're going to wrap that up then with it, and we'll come back with after a quick break with one final just kind of closing nuggets and how people can connect with you and ask questions and so forth. So we'll be right back. Thanks, Jason.
Sounds great.
All right, we're back with our final segment of the Digital Contractor Show here on Turf's Up Radio with Jason from Cultivize. Jason, thanks for sharing so many insights into marketing automation and the systems and services that you provide. I'd love to just kind of have you close out with maybe a nugget or two, maybe the timeliness of all this as well, and why now might be a good opportunity to pay attention to this.
Yeah, absolutely, Tim. And I think you kind of hit it, the kind of nail on the head, as they say. The ability to communicate, with your prospective customers, people that you're talking to, existing customers, about changes going on in the business. And yes, there are, obviously events going on throughout the world and throughout, the United States right now, where a lot of businesses are having to communicate, having to make changes, adjust their hours, their ability to provide different services. Being able to position yourself ahead of the curve, and to communicate with your people, if you will, in a very direct way, but in a very personalized way, can be achieved very easily with a platform like this. Even if there are other events, whether it be freak weather conditions or other things that might happen, people don't think about those things. They think about, okay, my marketing is there to attract and bring in new business. For communication, I call people and I send them an email, but they don't think about, other communication that might actually need to be there. An example might be, companies right now in the landscape industry and any industry might be adjusting their schedules. So maybe it's like, hey, we need to push back your appointment by a week, right? Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a system that could automatically send an email to everybody knowing what their appointment was, and then saying, instead of coming to you on March 14th, we're going to be coming to you on March 21st, right? And it personalizing that message to them instead of someone manually having to spend hours and hours rescheduling all those appointments. So there definitely is an advantage to having a system like this set up ahead of time. a system like this takes generally about 3 to 4 weeks for us to set up on average. So it's certainly something that we could get set up for anyone listening to kind of that wants to take advantage of what we've been talking about today. So I think that there are a number of additional advantages, if you will, to have a system like this in place ahead of situations like we are experiencing right now.
Sure. And I think just the kind of wrap that up though, I think just, any way we can look at creating more systems and processes and automations and things that, that might be able to help during difficult, scenarios or whatever, I think, there are good things to be thinking about. I know as service providers, we're always, you and I are both looking for that opportunity as well to help our customers. So, well, fantastic. I appreciate you sharing all this insight. And why don't we just give, how do people reach out to you if they've got questions? I know you're on LinkedIn, right? Do you want to,
I'm on LinkedIn, yeah. Jason Kramer isn't the most, unique name. So but if you look on the Jason Kramer company, as Tim mentioned, is Cultivize. It's Cultivize. As we were joking before, not maybe the most easiest name to spell, but
and that's cultivize.com, right?
Cultivize.com, yeah.
Okay.
The website.
Awesome.
Of course, anybody could always call. Phone number is 845-201-9353. And we're happy to have conversations, and really it's about education for us. It's about learning about the companies we speak with, to see if there's a mutual fit, because there really has to be. We're not here just trying to hit numbers and sell 100 licenses or something like that every month. We're looking for those real unique fits where we can bring some big impact to the companies we work with.
Awesome.
So
thanks again, Jason, for being a guest here on the Digital Contractor Show. And if you don't mind, let's do a quick shout out for Turfs Up Radio.
Sure.
So just if you want to just say your name again and company, and you're listening to Turfs Up Radio, your industry, or Rockin' the Green Industry, I think. If you want to just...
Wait, that's a lot for me to memorize.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I said Rockin' the Green Industry at the end of that?
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. We've got it covered. So you just said it, Rockin' the Green Industry.
There you go. All right. Hey, everybody, this is Jason Kramer from Cultivize. You're listening to Turfs Up Radio.
Rockin' the Green Industry.
Rockin' the Green Industry.
Awesome. Okay. So again, thanks again. And thank you to everybody that's been listening today or listening to the podcast replay. And my name is Tim Fondrick with Hardscape Marketer. And wherever you are or whatever you do in the green industry, make it a great day.